Who was the legal religious advisor to Salahuddin al-Ayyubi and his predecessor Nuruddin al-Zenki? It was Fatima al-Samarkandi. She was the muftiya. She was the one they would come to for religious legal rulings. Her father was a scholar. His name was Ala ad-Din al-Samarkandi, and he wrote Tuhfa al-Fuqaha, a huge book of fiqh. And his student, Ala ad-Din al-Kasani, wanted to marry Fatima. But her father said, she is way better than you. She has way more knowledge than you. You are not up to her level. So if you want to marry her, you need to write a book, the commentary of Tuhfa al-Fuqaha, in order to be worthy of her hand. So then Ala ad-Din al-Kasani wrote Bada'i' al-Sana'i', which is one of the greatest books in Hanafi fiqh. And the reason he did so was just to be able to marry Fatima al-Samarkandi. He wrote this book, she accepted his proposal, they got married. And when he would go teach classes and his students would ask him questions, he would say, hold on, he would leave, he would go ask his wife for the answer, and he'd come back, and then he would teach them what he taught her. Sheikh Akram Nadawi, who is a great hadith scholar of our time, talks to us about something very powerful. You can read his book Al-Muhaddithat in English, and he says, don't we owe these women thanks? So many of our books were written by them, influenced by them. The reason we even have Bada'i' al-Sana'i' was just so that Al-Kasani could become at a level worthy of her knowledge. How much of Nuruddin and Salahuddin's decisions came from Fatima al-Samarkandi? Sheikh Akram mentioned that some people say things like men are, better, more worthy of gaining knowledge. And he says, what do you think would happen to men if we constantly said that they should just stay home? What do you think would happen to men if we constantly said that they should just stay home and that's the only place that they should learn? What do you think would happen to the quality of men learning and becoming scholars? So how do we expect there to be a change in our ummah when it comes to women and women's scholarship if we are not actively talking about the reality of the history of women scholars and the way they impacted some of the greatest men scholars that we know of, how their work has impacted Islamic law through centuries, and how we can actively work towards a revival of that today. And when we have women who are seeking scholarship and who do become mothers, imagine how that's going to impact the next generation and the next and the next.